Do you want to learn how to grow your Instagram account to over 100,000 followers and close 5-figure brand deals in less than a year and a half? Yeah, I did too. So I got in a car, drove to New Jersey, and did an interview with Gannon Meyer. Gannon's an Instagram creator that I've been following since his account was pretty small, and there's 3 things that I really like about him. The first one is he's not a bullshit artist. He shares the ups and downs of his journey very, very freely.
I made videos for 2 years and literally nothing happened. You're just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what the fuck am I doing? Is this even gonna work? January 2025, I left my job up. I didn't make something work in 6 months, and I've literally, like, I'll be honest, like, there were nights where I've just, like, not cried myself to sleep, but I've just fucking felt so overwhelmed with this shit not working. 2 videos back to back, 3.7 million views, and after that, 3.2 million views.
That's a 3.7 million views on 4,000 followers.
So I made double what I would have made at my full-time job in that first month. I think we hit the goal of 15K. And then by Friday, we had 17K in a week.
The second one is that his content's got a pretty unique vibe to it. I really like the way it looks aesthetically. And the third is that he's actually responsive and wants to build connections. I took his course, we've collabed over email, and then I got in the car and spent half an hour with him, and I want to share the conversation with you here. So we're gonna go to the podcast, enjoy this conversation with Gannon Meyer.
I am literally at 2,500 followers right now, and I would love for you to, like, walk through, if you were going to take someone like me and teach me how to go viral on Instagram, with organic content, right? Break it down, man. You got the sauce, you know?
Yeah, it's so the thing about Instagram is, and I see this with a lot of people who post on, like, LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter, whatever it is, right? They think that repurposing means reposting, and that's just not what that means, because Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, they're all their own unique platforms, and I think Instagram is more aesthetic and photo and artsy driven than any other platform. So when I'm making content, I have this, like, idea of, like, a first frame in my head. Like if my first frame of my video could be a picture, I'm on the right track.
Okay.
And I think people, they just kind of, like, talk in front of a camera in their office, and they're like, oh, well, I've been posting for, 15 months straight and nothing happens because
I feel seen right now.
yeah. Like, do you know what the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I get DMs all the time. I'm like, why is my content not performing well? And I'm not saying, like, I'm the best example of what works, but, like, look at your content and then look at, like, the way that mine just looks. And it's just totally different. I would like to say that 15% to 20% of the people that follow me don't give a fuck about marketing. They just like the way my videos look, and they just use that as inspiration, which is cool. But, like, that's what moves the needle. Just, like, something that looks good, right? Starting with vibrant colors, symmetry. It also comes down to, like, it's just like making the picture look artsy. So, like, if you have a decent understanding of what looks good, like, if you can go, like, an Apple website, right? You go to Apple's website, you're like, I don't know what it is about this, but I just know that it looks fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? So I think having that advantage of knowing what looks really good works really well on Instagram. Yeah, so, like, if you have a decent understanding of what looks good, even if you don't necessarily know why, just try to, like, not copy it, but just take inspiration from, like, 5 different people and make it your own. Like, that's what I've done. And then I just add, slowly over time, it was, like, very formal, and now it's like, all right, here's a little bit of who I am as a person, and now it's just like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Fuck it, take it or leave it. I don't really care.
I've seen you do that. Like, you've got I think the handwriting font, right? And, like, the way you do the captions is, like, varying font sizes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm, like, not artsy at all. I'm one of those guys that, like, you'll put something in front of me and I'll be like, I don't like it, but I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
Like it.
Well, it's the opposite too. Like, I love this, but I don't know why I love this.
Yeah.
And it, like, I don't think I can teach photography in art, graphic design, because I don't necessarily know how to explain why something looks good. Like, it just looks good. I don't even want to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I can just look at A and B and be like, A looks a lot better than B. I can't tell you why. Like, it's not because I can say, oh, this letter here is slightly off center. It's just like, it just looks better. I don't know. It makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I approach all my videos. Like, if my visuals can make somebody feel a certain way, like, they're hooked.
Yeah. So let me double tap on that for a sec, because I've worked with a lot of, like, founders and entrepreneurs over the years, but less creators, people who, like, the business comes first and the content tends to come second. And one of the things that I think makes you unique in my eyes and talented is that you've got the art side of it dialed, right? Like, I know when I'm watching your content because I can tell that it's yours. but also you're good at teaching. You're good at teaching the concepts, the frameworks, and like the exact way to do things.
Yeah.
Like, how do you balance those two things? Like, is like, I have something to teach and then you figure out the art that supports it, or is it like the other way? Or are they independent? Like, how do you think through that, man?
For me, it's probably unique to a lot of other people because I grew up when like YouTube first started, and I remember just making videos like playing fucking, if you're listening to this, you probably have no idea what Club Penguin is, but I was like recording videos for YouTube with like an unregistered Hypercam 2, like you would see that little watermark in the top left, and that's kind of where I started. And like my dad was always very artistic. My grandma, like she would literally sit in bed with me and we would just draw in coloring books. Like everything was art, but I'm not an artist. I feel like I've gotten good at teaching from being in a sales job for 3 years, because sales is teaching how something works. And when you have to explain something that's very complex to somebody who really only wants to sell houses all day, when I was in real estate marketing, you get very good at teaching very quickly. And I've always kind of been a good teacher. Like I've always been good at explaining how complex things work at a very basic fundamental level. But for me, I think the art came first, and I've just found a way to combine the two. But I'm way more art and design focused than I am teaching focused, which is why it's still kind of hard for me to explain how I see things. And like I can walk past a scene and be like, yeah, that's a picture right there, and people are like, well, what are you talking about? Like, how's that what you mean? How do you see that?
Well, it's one of the things I noticed. We sat down at this table and the first thing out of your mouth was remarking about the color.
Yeah. And like nobody really notices that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I was doing photography. We actually ran an Instagram page in 2013 called Sneaker Edits, which we just fucking had a Nikon D3500 or whatever, and we taught each other like how to use Photoshop. It was me, a group of 3 of my friends, and we just, we grew up pretty poor, and we would spend literally all of our money on sneakers, and we would just take pictures of sneakers, and like that's how I learned Photoshop and shit. But like that's how I got into photography. The video site was with Club Penguin back in like 2009, 2010. So it's unique, right? Like all of those experiences, the time I grew up, the day I was born, like all of that plays into a factor of like the technology that I've been introduced to and like how I've incorporated everything over the course of like the past 27 years.
Yeah. Does this concept of the first frame, I think, is really interesting. I'd never heard that until like this conversation. Does that, like when you're figuring out the first frame and the aesthetic, does that have to tie into the thing that you're teaching, if it's content that you're teaching, or you just need it to look good and teach something valuable and put them together?
The cinematographers and filmmakers are going to hate me for this. I am making videos for Instagram. I'm not trying to fucking impress, Christopher Nolan. I do look up to people like OMG Adrian on Instagram. Like he's really good at like just incorporating the shots and like telling a story through the visuals. I'm not that person. I have tried to be, and it's just not who I am and what I do. So I think it's okay, right? Like I don't want to be somebody that I'm not willing to be, because that does not play to my strengths. Sure. I'm a better writer than like a filmmaker, and I also don't have the fucking patience to just sit outside with a C-stand and record for 3 hours and then go home and make a video and do it the next day. I just record B-roll, and then I write a good video, and then I make it look artsy, and then I just post it.
Okay, let me read that back, because I think that like that's something that might feel it's obvious to you, but it's like mind-blowing for me. So you'll basically batch record like a wide variety of B-roll shots. Then you'll do the talking head teaching component. I think one of the way you were similar, both to like iPad drawings and diagramming and stuff like that. Then you'll go through the B-roll and just frame up like a good first frame that's aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. Use that to lead off the video.
Yeah, I have like a full terabyte of B-roll that I've just recorded over the past like year or so, and I segment it by setting and where I recorded it. And it's not like, oh, this is a good intro shot. I recorded this at fucking Lake Chautauqua in New York. And I'm like, okay, I know the scene that I want to use for that video, and it's got like this negative space, it's got symmetry, it's got vibrant colors, and then I can use that negative space to put the captions, and as soon as somebody sees that, they're like, this is like nothing I've ever seen before. So now I have them hooked visually, and now they listen to me with what I say.
That's interesting. So you're basically like the whole left brain, right thing. So you're basically batching like the different types of energy, right? So like you're flexing your cinematography muscle when you're doing the B-roll shoots, and then you can be into like writer, teacher, educator mode, knowing that you've got a good bank to draw from to like frame up the way you want it to look.
What I talk about is very boring, unless I position it in a sexy way.
Yeah, same. I get that.
So you have to make it look good. Like, how can I make this look very good? And it's hard to do. Like, if you look at the videos I made, like, you know, I literally made my first video up on that roof over there.
Oh, really?
Like, actually, I made it in the podcast studio that we walked past today. And it was like terrible. It was just so bad. I didn't learn actually how to shoot in like S-Log3, which is a camera setting that I use for color grading, until August of last year. But I still, you know, made my videos look good. So you don't actually have to know how to use these things technically to make them look good, but it is an advantage because it brings you from like, you know, 90 to 95%.
Sure.
But anything that you use, like a phone or regular camera, can get you from 0 to 90 pretty quickly. But what takes you to the next level is like doing the shit that nobody else knows how to do or is willing to learn, or, you know,
Yeah,
that's
your spin on
that's
it.
the advantage. Yeah.
So you wrote something on one of your posts recently that I thought was interesting. You said there's a difference between doing 1,000 iterations versus 1,000 reps. Or break that down? What's the difference?
Yeah, it's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So for me, you know, if you look at my video from literally a year ago, you look at a video I posted yesterday, they're totally different, but there are things that are the same. The way that I speak, maybe I have a little bit more self-deprecating humor in the videos that I post now, but that's just like things that I've iterated on over the past, call it 300 videos. So like I learned how to color grade. That's an iteration. I learned how to, you know, frame better shots. That's an iteration. I got a new lens. That's an iteration. I bought new lighting. That's an iteration. All these different things. If I was making the same videos I was making a year ago, I'd be fucking, I don't know, at 3,000 followers still. But it's just like, what can I do to move the needle even a little bit? It's like, if you read Atomic Habits, it's the first fucking thing he talks about is like a 1 degree change in the direction of a plane could be the difference between New York and, you know, Dulles in Virginia. Right? So like, over time, it makes a big difference, but day by day, you know, you don't really see that result until one day it just fucking, you're like, holy shit, I ended up here. That wasn't supposed to happen.
So like, what was if you can think back, right? Because I love what you said in the beginning. It was 2 years of basically just fucking nothing, right? Nothing working and just like sticking with it, which is legit because everyone's got these like overnight successes that were a decade in the making. And like, of course, different. What was that moment when you first saw it start to work? Was there like one video that you can remember, like one moment where you're like, oh damn, like this is different, this is cool or something?
Yeah, it's strange because the video that did really well, I kind of wrote it in a way that it was supposed to do well. It was very clickbaity, and it's like, you know, if you listen to Radiohead, you know, Tom York in Radiohead, they just do not perform the song Creep anymore because he fucking hates the song. It's like, why did I make that? It's like their most popular song too, right? So for me, I'm not comparing myself to fucking Tom York, but I had 2 videos back to back that I'm like, if this doesn't like have any sort of impact and go not viral, but if it doesn't do really well, I'm really doing something wrong. And the way that those videos started was like, it's very clickbaity. It was the Instagram algorithm has changed and it's only rewarding this one thing. And I explained in that video that the reason at the time people were making 6-second videos was because they were retention farming. So like the longer somebody spends on a video, the higher the retention, the better the video does, because Instagram sees that as people staying on the platform longer. I could have easily explained it like that, but I needed a way for people to actually give a fuck. And I knew that that was the way to do it. It was like a BuzzFeed article.
Sure.
2 videos back to back. That first one got like 3.7 million views. And then the one after that, I don't even know what the fuck I talked about. I may have even like just talked about the same topic with like a slightly different hook, and it got like 3.2 million views.
I'm sorry, how many subscribers or followers were you at that point?
So like 4,000 or something.
So 3.7 million views on 4,000 followers.
Yeah, and I went up, I think one video got me like 8,000 to 10,000 new followers. And then I went like a year without, actually, it was like 6 to 8 months later, I had another video get like 5 million. That was the handwriting font video.
Got it.
And I got like 20,000 followers from that one. Like anyone who follows me knows that video. And I've posted it as like trial reels, like, you know, 3 times, and it got like 1 million views in all 3. And I was like, shit, okay, this works. How can I redo this like 6 months later? I feel like I went on a tangent. What was the question?
Yeah, no, it's like that moment where you started.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I think the first time I went viral was like, okay, this works. And I had a setup that allowed me to kind of like capitalize on that. So I was generating leads right off the bat. Like I got 3,000 leads from one video. And like since then I've cleaned up my email list. So some of those people were unsubscribed, but a good foundation of my audience right now on my email list is from a year ago. Yeah. So I've been like talking through newsletters and podcasts with those people for 12 months. And I think having the system in place to not monetize it, but capitalize on that attention right off the bat was like, okay, this is something that I can replicate over and over again without driving myself up a fucking wall.
Well, that's it. So what was the first like product that you sold? Was it the cohort-based course that you do, or where'd you start?
Cohort thing was like the last thing I sold. Okay. It was like the last attempt at me. So January 2024, as I left my job, it was like January 7th was the last day. Yeah. I got severance. I had like maybe 10 grand in savings, and I knew that would last me about 6 months. So if I didn't make something work in 6 months, then I had to get another job. So that first month, I was on Instagram talking about real estate marketing still, and I had a decent, when I was working at that previous company, I had 1,000 clients that I was basically in charge of. Not in charge of like day in, day out, but clients were assigned to me if they wanted to talk about marketing strategy. When I left, they all fucking followed me on Instagram. And I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this thing through ManyChat for real estate. And it was like a ManyChat automation pack where I would set up their automation for each property they advertised. And then I would go into, sending that lead who commented to their CRM. So they basically got a lead for free through organic content. And I set that up. I charged $1,000 for it. It took me 12 minutes to set up. Yeah. So like if people were watching it, oh fuck, whatever. It took me a while to build it, so that's why I charged $1,000. But
it's not about how long it takes you to learn it, or
Yeah, exactly. So I sold 7 of those in my first month at my job. So I made double what I would have made at my full-time job in that first month. So I gave myself like 2 extra months to to live, at that point. So I tried from January until August of that year, September of that year, of 2024. I was doing like video editing one-off projects. I had one editor on my team I hired from like Fiverr. Yeah. And I was charging like $300 a month for like 20 videos, and I was probably making like $30 a client at that point. So I was like, this is, the real estate market sucks right now. I'm having a lot more fun making my own content. How can I not make this real estate specific and just talk about how I built ManyChat automations to send people to any CRM? So I did that. I changed from real estate specific to just general marketing stuff for Instagram in, I want to say like June, July. And I tried ManyChat packs. I did a video editing pack. I did a course, and I was like, none of these things really feel right for me because I want to build a community of people who are like me, and I love teaching live. What's the only thing I haven't tried? It's a fucking cohort. So I had the idea for a cohort in September. That was like September 27th. Within 45 days, the cohort was launched. I had a curriculum outlined, but the cohort started on November 11th, which was a Tuesday. I started making my slides on November 9th. It launched during election week. And I was like, listen, if this does not work, I'm kind of fucked. Like I have nothing else to do. And I didn't really set a goal, but I wanted to do, like if I made 15K, that would last me until like where we're at right now, and I'd be good. So I launched cohort 1. I watched like every, Jay Klaus video. He did a breakdown of how he launched his first product. I watched Ali Abdal's breakdown of how he launched his products. I joined Time to Build with Tom Nosky, and I reverse engineered how he did everything for that launch. And I just kind of paid for access to these people and learned from them directly. And I was like, I have been doing everything wrong for the past 6 months. I have never launched a product. So I spent 45 days building that wait list, and on November 3rd, I actually launched it on November 1st, which was a Friday, to the wait list.
Yeah, I remember because I was sitting in my driveway, my kids were riding their bikes in the cul-de-sac, and we were messaging back and forth. I told you should charge more.
Yeah, it was only $500, and I was like, shit, I don't know what to charge for this. Yeah. It's 5 weeks. I feel like I don't know. It's my first one. So Friday I launched it to the wait list. Monday I launched it to the general list. By Wednesday the 7th, I think we hit the goal of 15K. And then by Friday we had another, 4 or 5 people join. So it was fucking crazy. I did like 17K in a week. And I was like, okay, this works.
Yeah, something here.
But now I have to actually make the slides for the presentations. Yeah. I didn't do that until Sunday, which was 2 days before the classes started. And I went through that 5-week period and I was like, okay, this is like what I want to do. And again, going back to the iteration question, I'm about to launch cohort 3 in a month. And it's just been iteration. I don't want to do this. I can remove this. I like doing this. Let's keep that. Let's build out the community aspect. Let's make it a collaborative experience. And it's just like, I think people give up on the first iteration of the product and they launch it and they don't make any adjustments to it. Like, this is supposed to be your core offer. Like, you can't just launch it and just have that be the thing. Yeah. It's like, you wake up every month and your iPhone has an update. Of course it does, because I want to make the product better. Like, you should do that with your own products.
Yeah, dude, that's such an important point. It's like, it's one of these things for me that comes natural because I'm a software guy and an entrepreneur. So you're always, just ship features, change your code, do this, do that. Yeah. But it's the same thing with products, services. It's everything, man. It's like you got to be able to move around a little bit.
It's easier to launch something once and make iterations of it and then like promote it evergreen. Yeah. Than it is to just fucking make something new from scratch every single time you launch something. And I've done multiple launches, but they're for the same product. Like, it's for the cohort. Now, like, I think my core offer is going to be the cohort and community, and then like, a digital product, and then maybe like workshops every month or so.
Got it.
Workshops work really well, surprisingly.
Talk through that funnel, dude. So you're doing free workshops to build the wait list for the next cohort launch, or how do you think through it?
I don't promote anything directly on my Instagram unless it's a low ticket offer. Mm-hmm. So my funnel / like flywheel is content to 7-day storytelling course.
It's an email course, right?
Email course, okay. one email a day for 7 days. Once they opt in for that email course, there's a one-time offer for a workshop. So it's a recorded workshop, 90 minutes, that basically explains the entire process of that 7 days, but condensed. Okay. And it goes a little bit deeper into, how I approach writing videos. After that, I have a one-time offer on the landing page for that workshop. Once they watch the workshop, underneath that it says, hey, there's a $100 discount for Storytelling Reels OS. That has about a 10% take rate, which is fucking absurd. Yeah. Like 10% is insane. And cold,
it's a couple $100, right?
$197.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And then on the stand page, it's about a 3% take rate for cold traffic, people who have just clicked at it out of nowhere. So it works. Like, it's crazy. And then I just kind of promote like the cohort. I'm really only going to do that through my newsletter, a waitlist promotion on my story, and then through the podcast. So like, it's it's an uphill battle trying to get somebody who just found you on Instagram to buy a $1,500 thing. Like, it's just not going to happen. They need to spend more time with you, and you do that through the podcast and your newsletter. And like, your newsletter and your podcast won't have 3.5 million views, but it'll have 40 to 50. I mean, I get like, 200 views on a podcast. I have a 40% open rate on my emails, and I have like 6,500 emails, which is pretty good. And like, those are engaged people. Like, they read the entire fucking email and they listen to the entire fucking podcast. So like, I hate like corporate jargon, but like low-hanging fruit is what it is. And I hate like calling people low-hanging fruit.
We're not going to circle back on anything, right?
No, we're not going to circle back on anything. Yeah, I'm not going to, no, fuck no. I left that a year ago, so I'm good off that. Yeah, I think about this, and I talked about that in my Kajabi carousel that I made a couple of days ago. I was like, people, like, it's content minutes. Like, you need to spend like and Jay Klaus talks about this too all the time. He's like, not all attention is equal. Like, attention on a podcast is way more valuable than attention on a 60-second reel, because they spend more time with you. Yeah. So I'm thinking about taking the short form attention and immediately moving them away from Instagram into a distribution platform that I own, which is a newsletter and a podcast, because I control that. I don't have to rely on an Instagram algorithm pushing my content out to more people. It's not like, oh, fuck, my story only got 4,000 views. No, I reached 4,000 people with an email, and 300 of those people listen to a podcast, and they've listened for 30 minutes. Yeah. You know how long it takes to get somebody to listen to 30 minutes of your reels? First of all, you actually need 30 minutes of reels, and most people don't.
Sure. Dude, that's interesting. So how do you measure success for your Instagram account at your stage now? I mean, I'm sure obviously follower growth, but like, are you turning like follower to newsletters?
I don't know. Yeah, it's more about just converting the followers into leads. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't give a fuck about my follower count anymore. It's cool, but I'm just concerned about growing my email list with the most quality people.
Yeah.
And, just owning that distribution platform. I don't give a fuck about engagement anymore. I don't care about followers. I'll just post a story every day and be like, hey, I have this free course, download it. And that's it.
There was like a point, I would assume though, with your followers of like a point of critical mass where you like unlock the ability to not worry about it anymore, right? Because like, you can't run that play at 5K out of it.
No, yeah, you gotta care about it. Like, you need attention. I'd say for me, it started compounding right around when I launched the cohort. So when I launched the cohort, I had like 40,000 followers on Instagram, and that was 6 months ago. Yeah. So like I've almost doubled every 6 months or so. I've more than doubled every 6 months. I don't really know what was the tipping point for that. It may have been just, like Malcolm Gladwell has a book about this. It's like, who was the person who just fucking sent it over the edge? I don't know who that person is. I don't know what piece of content it was, but
it was definitely when I bought your first cohort. It was me, for sure.
I think so, yeah. It actually was.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, it's hard to reverse engineer what works really well, and it's never one specific thing though. I think it's just your stick-to-itiveness and just not saying, fuck it, I don't like doing this anymore. Yeah. I've literally, like, I'll be honest, like, there were nights where I've just, like, not cried myself to sleep, but I've just fucking felt so overwhelmed with this shit not working. Yeah. I think a lot of people get there, right? You're just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what the fuck am I doing? Is this even gonna work? Like, it has to. Like, and I think it has to. It means, like, you've just done it for so long that there's no doubt that it will work because you just haven't fucking thrown the towel.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, like, I co-sign that 100%. Like, everything good that has happened to me in business always happened like 2 to 3 months after normal people would have quit.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you gotta be smart enough to know when your thing's not working, but like, there's that middle place where you feel like it's totally fucked, and when it actually is, like, usually the win is like somewhere right.
Yeah, it's never as fucked as you think it is, unless you just, people like me, people message me and be like, I've been doing this for 15 months. I'm like, yeah, it's time to figure out something different. Yeah. I'll be honest. Yeah, but you've also been doing the same thing for 15 months and it's not working, so you're clearly an insane person.
Yeah, for sure, man. What, like, how do you deal with getting tired of the content you're producing?
I don't.
You never?
I never get tired. Yeah, it's very strange. I don't get tired. I get... I'm sometimes I'm not as excited about creating something as I would have been in the past. Mm-hmm. But it comes down to like making one iteration. Like, I brought my C stand out to a park the other day and I was like, fuck, I love making videos again. And it was a week.
It's just novelty for you as a creator. You just change one thing and you feel good.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you'll buy new gear. Like, I bought this thing the other day and I was like, I haven't taken a professional picture on a camera, or I haven't taken a picture on a professional camera. Not that I'm a professional photographer, but I used to, like, when I bought that first camera and I went to all these different businesses, I was just running their social media page with a Nikon. Mm-hmm. And from like August 2022 until literally last Thursday, I hadn't taken a picture on a professional camera. And I bought this thing, I was like, fuck, I love taking pictures. All it was is I just need a Fujifilm X105. That's all I need. I don't recommend using gear as an inspiration to...
Staying broke?
Yeah. Although if you have an LLC, it is a write-off, but I don't recommend using gear as a way to motivate you to make content. But sometimes it is, going to be like, oh yeah, like, I want to get this shot. I want to do a nice, like, overhead shot, crane shot. I need a C-stand. I'm gonna go out and buy a C-stand. And like, now because you have different shots that you can get, you're like, oh, I can incorporate this into videos. And now it's not the same fucking B-roll folder you've been using for the past 6 months. It's now you have new B-roll that you can use. I'm never like, I resent doing this. That's never once happened to me, which is a good thing, I think.
Do you worried at all that like the more business success that comes is going to take you away from the art? It seems to light you up, or are you able to balance the two sides?
I'm very particular about how things look, and I edit all my videos by myself. Oh, wow. I edit all my pictures, my carousels. It's all me. I can only do so much, but I think because I do it, it's less about the quantity and more about the quality, which now drives even more growth. Mm. It also comes down to understanding who you don't want to be. I don't want to be Alex Hormozi. I don't want to be anybody who like outsources their creative process to other people, because that's what has gotten me here. And I still think people say what got you here won't get you there. I kind of think that's not true. Creatively, what got you here will take you to the next step too, because like, especially in a creative business, like you have to be the person to run the show. And you can teach people how to like edit videos your way, but I would never look for somebody to script my videos for me, right? Only I can do that. And anybody who's watching this, like, don't use fucking AI to like write your videos. Like, I mean, I have a product that uses AI to help write script videos, but it's not to like write it from start to finish. It's here's my script. What can I change, if anything, based off of what you see working right now on Instagram? Yeah. That's it. This has to be you.
So can you double click more on that? Because I think a lot of people watching, at least in my world, aren't going to have the context about what you've built. Like, what is the right way to use AI as a creative?
I think it's, first of all, you have to bully the AI in a nice way, because if it becomes self-aware, then you're like, honestly, once ChatGPT becomes self-aware, I'm the first person to go, I curse that thing out like a motherfucker. I'm like, you are fucking stupid. So you have to tell it what you don't want. And you have to tell it to like be more forceful. It tends to agree with you too much, right? So I'm like, based off of everything you know, and feel free, by the way, to tell me I'm a fucking idiot. Does this make sense in the context of what I'm trying to do? So for an example, like I was thinking about like probably like last week, I was in the middle of the launch for Storytelling Reels OS, and I was like, I want to send out one more email before this cart closes. Like, how should I structure this email? And I was like, should I use any testimonials? And honestly, it was just like, fuck no, you shouldn't use testimonials, because you've been sending out emails that, you know, for the past like week, it's all about building trust, showing people how this works, why it works. You've also sent testimonials from people who have beta tested this thing. So it was just like, this is all about urgency. People are already sold or they're not sold. Just tell them this is the last 60 minutes or whatever it is to buy this thing. And I was like, interesting.
Good feedback.
Yeah, right? So I wrote the email, and I think I probably bought like 4 or 5 people bought it from that email. And I was like, all right, well, ChatGPT just made me $1,000. Thank you. Yeah. You paid for yourself 50 times over for the month. Thank you. So I use it for like administrative tasks. I don't have it write the emails for me. I don't have it write any copy. I don't have it write any like tweets or captions or anything like that, because you can tell if something's written by AI. You can also train it to write the way you do. So I've uploaded all my scripts that I've written for my videos in Notion. I've uploaded all my emails to it. And I'm like, this is how I write. Just describe how this sounds. It's very conversational, self-deprecating, and yeah, I curse a lot, whatever.
Same.
But I can make ChatGPT sound like I do.
Yeah.
Not that I would, but I'm like, it's good to also have a conversation with it like that, because it seems like you're just kind of like thinking out loud and talking to yourself, and you're actually getting feedback from something that is learned from everything on the internet. Yeah. But I would just do it for like administrative stuff and ideas. So nothing about like creative.
And like feedback, like you were saying.
Feedback,
right?
yeah.
Who should be following you on Instagram?
Anybody who has a digital product or service who uses Instagram to get leads and sell that thing. That's it. And I think I have people where it's like, oh, I'm not a creator. I'm like, do you post on Instagram? Do you have a product? Do you use content to promote that product? You're a creator. Welcome to the world. Like, it's really not that difficult. You're like, yeah, you're not Mr. Beast. Neither am I. I'm fucking sitting here with a camera taking pictures of a bench at a park. I'm not in like Abu Dhabi doing like a fucking 100-man challenge. Yeah. They don't have to be. Like, you just make content for Instagram to promote your shit. That's all it is. And I think that's like, you know, I was thinking about changing the name of my cohort from, you know, Instagram Creator Academy, and I dropped Instagram, and I was like, does it even have to be a Creator Academy because people don't consider themselves creators? I was like, fuck it. Like, I think we just have to educate people on if they are a creator or not. Yeah. Do you have a camera? Do you post to Instagram? Do you have a product? The answer is yes to all 3 of those questions. Perfect. Welcome to the world of being a creator.
Dude, I dig that. I love how real you are about it, man. That's just where you are. You got
yeah, I don't really give a fuck.
You're out there, man. Let's start where do people go to follow you, man? Promote it up.
Yeah, Instagram at Gannon Meyer, GANNON.MEYER. My website is GannonMeyer.com. That'll link you to the cohort I run. But on my Instagram page, there's my stand store, which has my 7-day course. It's got the Storytelling Reels OS. It's got Product Launch OS, which will show you how to run a product on Instagram and promote that through a wait list and get leads and sell it. Podcast, it's all in my stand store. So yeah, everything's there.
I love it. I can tell you this, and I get nothing from it. I've bought pretty much everything this dude puts out. It's all been worth it. So, dude, I appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. Absolutely.
Cool.